discuss the topic Understanding and Managing Glaucoma. That's Family Time, Monday, June 30 at 5:30 p.m. right here on the Family Station, Love 101.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:30 and time now for Family Time.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be back once again on Family Time right here on Love 101. Thank you, Auntie Nadine. It's been a while. We need to catch up. But blessings to each and every one of you, and thanks again for coming another Monday afternoon, joining us on Family Time on Love 101. So we have a very interesting program lined up for you today, and it's something that affects many persons, especially of black descent, and within the region, Jamaica especially. We have a serious issue at hand, but we're gonna see how we can tackle that, and we have a couple of wonderful guests that are gonna join us and see how we can navigate this issue as best as is possible. So again, good evening, and it's been a while since I've been on, but it's always good to be back. So Family Time, of course, is about your issues and your relationships. It's about your at-home family, your community family, and your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to enable healthy families, which will lead to healthy nations. So stay with us and please connect with us via all our platforms. That's Facebook at FLM-Family Life Ministries. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries-FLMJA. And on Instagram, you can check in at FLMJA. While Family Time is a family program, we'd like to caution that it may, on the odd occasion, touch on what some may consider mature subject matters. Your discretion is advised. Again, I'm O'Neill Campbell, and we're looking at glaucoma. This is one of the leading causes of blindness around the world, and it often strikes without warning. In the Caribbean and among black communities, the risk is even higher. You probably have a relative right now in your own home who is dealing with glaucoma. And if it's not in your home, someone near and dear to you may have been having that challenge. Maybe it's you. So that's why this episode of Family Time is dedicated over the next hour to explore and to expose what glaucoma really is, why it's often missed until damage is done, and what steps can be taken to protect your sight. From diagnosis and treatment to support from family and community, this is something that you have to listen to and watch for anyone who wants to keep their vision strong for years to come. Because when it comes to your eyes, early action can save your sight. Again, when it comes to your eyes, early action can save your sight. Join us as we look at the topic Understanding and Managing Glaucoma. We'll be answering questions you never knew you had, but here is ours to you. What would you miss most if you lost your sight? Again, what would you miss most if you lost your sight? I probably will reserve my response to a little later. Send your answers via WhatsApp text and WhatsApp voice notes to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Try to keep the voice notes no longer than 30 seconds, please. And you can also call our studio lines, 876-968-8327 or 968-8328. You can also watch us and comment live on Love 101 FM Facebook and Love 101 FM YouTube. Get your questions ready for our very special guests, Dr. Kamara Brown and Dr. Valence Jordan. Take a quick break and we will be right back.
Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, in partnership with Vinci Construction Grand Projects, will host the official launch of the Western Resilience Water Project and groundbreaking ceremony Phase 1, Friday, July 4, beginning at 2 p.m. at the Davis Penn Football Field in Trelawney. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, will deliver the keynote address. This project will mark the beginning of one of the most transformative and critical infrastructure undertakings in Jamaica's most recent history that will provide a sustainable, reliable supply of potable water for residents all across Jamaica. That's the official launch of the Western Resilient Water Project and groundbreaking ceremony for Phase 1, Friday, July 4, beginning at 2 p.m. Listen live on Love 101 FM, the family station.
Okay, where are the campus eyes?
Coming up on the next Campus Connection, can you believe it's our final show for this season? Wow, time flies when you are having fun. You are invited to our campus graduation show, where you can send your shout-outs as we close off an amazing season. We will be reflecting on the season's journey and having a talk with guests Dr. Cedric Leslie and Mrs. Antonia Leslie, who are recent graduates from the Ohio State University, and Mrs. Misha Gay Wright Bernard, Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program graduate. You don't want to miss our special feature with Miss Akila Campbell, Jamaican-born science teacher in London. That's Campus Connection, Tuesday, July 1 at 5:30 p.m. only on the family station Love 101.
I don't know when love pass through. It's all about the gospel. So tell me what one from campus.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101. And we're speaking about glaucoma. So, Dr. Kamara Brown and Dr. Valence Jordan, they are our special guests today. Dr. Brown is glaucoma clinical lead at KPH. Dr. Jordan is an ophthalmologist and fellowship trained glaucoma specialist. Welcome to both of you today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks. I'm doing well. Yes, thank you so much. Dr. Brown and I talk about glaucoma a lot to each other, so it's a good opportunity for us to talk to some other people about
All
it.
right.
It's something we're passionate about.
That's great. So probably at the end of this, I'll become a specialist. We can all talk together. You'll have a third person in the mix.
It can be member number
course.
3, right?
A third member of the great cohort. All right. So thank you again both for taking the time out to share with us what's happening in this area, a critical area. It's almost as if I could say it's something that we are absent-minded to, or it's almost like something passes us by, but we don't really pay much attention, and it creeps upon us. And I think that's what's happening with this, because it's something that is happening and something that is critical, especially someone's vision sight, and but it's not something that I think is really highly looked at, especially as opposed to something like blood pressure, where people talk about them have sugar, etc. So I think this is definitely something that we need to take a close look at. And again, thank you both for taking the time out to be with us today. So before,
I think glaucoma is widely described as the silent thief of sight, and it's one of the most apt descriptions of this condition because, as you said, it doesn't give much warning, and because of that, it's often ignored until the peripheral or the corner vision losses become central, and
Right.
then patient then realizes, and very often at that point, it's quite late.
got you. So again, a silent, I would say killer, but something that affects us, creeps upon us, and that's definitely something that we need to shine some light on. So before we get into it, the meat of the matter, I want to remind our viewers and listeners. Question today: what would you miss most if you lost your sight? What would you miss most if you lost your sight? You can send messages to WhatsApp or voice notes to 876-997-3125. 30 seconds or less, please, for the messages. And you can send your answers to WhatsApp text and WhatsApp voice notes to 997-3125, as stated before. And also you can call our studio lines 876-968-8327 to 8. You can also watch us and comment on our pages on Love 101 Facebook and YouTube as well. All right. So let's get into the topic at hand, understanding glaucoma itself, because this isn't an eye problem you can ignore. It's often called the silent thief of sight, as you mentioned before, Dr. Brown. So let's get straight into it. What is glaucoma really, and why is it called a silent thief? I think you spoke a little bit about that. Could we get a little in depth into this whole thing called glaucoma for those who may not know what it is, or those who may, I don't know if there's a varying name, but definitely let's see what we can unearth today to actually get a foundational understanding of what glaucoma is.
Well, I guess first we have to define what glaucoma is.
Yes.
Of course, glaucoma isn't just one disease, it's really a group of diseases, and it affects the optic nerve. So the optic nerve is like a fiber optic cable that is carrying the information from the eye to the brain, and that's where it's interpreted, and that's how you're able to see. Mm-hmm. But in glaucoma, you get a progressive damage to that optic nerve. So that fiber optic cable is losing little wires, and as that happens, you lose parts of your visual field, as Dr. Brown had mentioned before. So the visual field is pretty much everything that you can see at one point in time, and glaucoma tends to start out affecting the peripheral vision, so your side vision. So it becomes a little bit less sensitive, and you don't notice because it's just a little bit less sensitive, and it's gradually getting less sensitive, and you kind of adjust to it, so you don't even notice until it's pretty much close to your center of vision, and that's when it's going to even more affect your function in your day-to-day activities.
Sorry, Dr. Johnny, you mentioned a word. Did you say side, S-I-D-E, vision?
Yes, S-I-D-E. So your peripheral vision, the outer part of what you can see. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
because most of the time you're paying attention to the central part of your vision.
Right.
Exactly.
So you may not notice that parts are missing.
You know, before you come in, Dr. Brown, it's so interesting because as I think about it, for real, I mean, I have no, you have me wondering, the peripheral vision that I'm actually able to see, is that
is it normal?
Right, exactly. That's no in my thought.
Yes, which is good, because there's no, if you don't check that, it's really difficult to assess for yourself if that's normal. And that's why there are several methods that we use, from very simple in-office ones to a bit more in-depth, where we can quantify, is this peripheral vision, your corner vision, the side vision, is it normal? Right. You don't realize how much we rely on it just for getting around, even driving. How you move your body in space depends on having good peripheral vision. And when you've worked with patients who have lost this vision, you can see the degree of disability that it produces. Even climbing stairs.
Right. Sorry to interrupt. So may I ask then, is it suggested that pretty much anyone, or depending on a particular age bracket, should really go and check to see what the actual peripheral vision should be? Is there like a standard, and should persons just go in to do a routine test to see if their peripheral vision has been affected in any way?
In my opinion, in Jamaica, yes, because it's something that's very common. If you look in the literature, they would say that glaucoma screening could start at the age of 40, because if you're over 40, that increases your risk. But we've been seeing a lot of younger patients in their 30s, even younger, who already have glaucoma, because it's so common in Jamaica, but it's not something that has really been quantified in Jamaica before. But I know Dr. Brown is doing some work on this.
So, we will be doing even more. So,
of course.
Yes, I think it's warranted.
Sorry, Dr. Brown, sorry to interrupt you. We're on a break. Let's just take that break and then get you going right at the start of the next segment. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Dr. Kamara Brown and Dr. Valence Jordan.
Always a good when you're moving with grace. The time by Grace Could Move is
5:45.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move.
Always a good move when you're moving with Grace.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to Love 101. You're in tune or listening to and watching Family Time right here on Love 101. All right, before you pick up where, I hope you still have your train of thought, Dr. Brown and Dr. Jordan. I want to get some quick fire questions out the way, and then we can pick up from there, because unfortunately on this program, time goes by way too quickly. And the question that is already there from YouTube is probably a question that I kind of had myself, so the person just kind of added to that. Question is, how can we know at home if our side vision, which is what Dr. Jordan mentioned, is defective? An at-home test? So they're asking, is there an at-home test similar to, I guess, a prick of a finger, kind of, those are the blood tests that you can simply do for varying reasons. They're saying, is there an at-home test, a kit I could use to test myself? I'm assuming that answer is no, Dr. Jordan, Dr. Brown. Or is there?
The answer is yes, somewhat, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. So the thing about it is, if you come into the clinic and you're being examined for glaucoma and investigated, we're going to do a visual field test. And that's where you're going to sit down and you're going to see some lights flashing around you of different brightnesses to give us an idea of what brightness of light you can see in various parts. And when you do the visual field test, it's going to compare your vision to vision in a normal person of your age. And that's going to vary based on your age.
Okay.
There are some tests that have come out, even virtual reality tests that aim to be comparable to visual field tests. And they kind of do a pretty good job. But I don't think it's worthwhile going out and buying expensive VR gear in order to test for glaucoma. I think it makes more sense to go to an ophthalmologist and be seen, especially since that's the only thing. There are a lot of things that we do when we're testing you for glaucoma. We'll check your vision, we'll check the pressure in your eye.
We check the thickness of your cornea. We look at the appearance of the nerve. We look at the depth of what we call your drainage angle. So there's a lot that goes into a comprehensive eye exam. A lot of people give a rule of thumb of having at least 2 eye exams in your 20s, 3 in your 30s, and annually after 40. And that's a rule of thumb that we go by. And why I don't mind that is, if you have had your eye exam in your 20s and there was anything abnormal detected, a more intense regime would be designed for you by your eye care provider. So that is a pretty good rule of thumb, because if we pick up something, of course, then we would screen you more aggressively or more frequently. But there's a lot that goes into a glaucoma assessment outside of a peripheral vision examination, as Doc clearly pointed out to you. So I think the most important thing is for patients and people in our region to have that initial exam. I should not still be meeting patients who have never seen an eye care provider.
So, Dr. Brown, I'm getting to the point where maybe I'm speaking for others. I'm upset. Why hasn't this been mentioned? Screening in your 20s, 3 times they said in the 30s or something to that effect, and once annually in the 40s. Since I reached a certain number, a number already, and I've never heard of that regime. So it's so no wonder we're in the dark when it comes to being on top of the situation of being, early detection or getting something like this under some level of control, or being made aware how to stem the damage that you're all both indicating that happens because we're completely oblivious to what is happening in that particular area. So that's of great concern. But before you go there, as I said, just want to get a couple of things out of the way. If it's yes, no, or just a line or two, because as I said, time is going quickly, and I think we need to be aware of this. So, question is, people have asked, if something was wrong, wouldn't I feel it? Is it so? Is glaucoma something that you feel? Even if I'm asking something that you said already, just want to be clear. Why is glaucoma so sneaky and symptom-free in the early stages?
So it depends on the type of glaucoma, because glaucoma can be. Oh, sure, go ahead.
No, I was saying, do you want to take that one? So go right ahead.
Oh, sure. No, sorry. I thought you said you wanted to. No, so I was saying that glaucoma can be acute. So in acute glaucoma, the pressure goes up very quickly and very high. And the patient like that will present with pain and blurred vision and seeing halos around lights. And a patient like that isn't going to sit at home. But most glaucoma isn't like that. It's chronic. The pressure may be a bit high, but you're not going to feel anything if the pressure is a bit high or if it's gradually going up. So you'll sit at home and you'll be gradually losing parts of your visual field, but it doesn't cause any pain, and some subtle changes. And the thing with glaucoma is that you get a much better outcome if you're picked up early. And if you're going to depend on when you're actually noticing a change in your vision, then you're going to present late. And at that point, I mean, we can treat you, but the vision that's left to be preserved is a lot less. So it's definitely not advised to wait until you can feel something or notice something.
Because the damage is irreversible.
But doctors, the challenge from the jump is that we don't know nothing about these things that you're mentioning. So it's not even like it's something that we're taught in school. Like the many things that they say, dental care, brush your teeth, floss, etc. These things are taught from your.
Oh, that's a pet peeve of mine. Yeah? Pet peeve there, Mr. Boy, because we've got 32 adult teeth, right?
Yes.
And 2 eyes. And so many Jamaicans spend so much time with their dentist and neglect myself and Dr. Jordan. I think that it is, I agree with you, it's not spoken about enough, but those are bigger political decisions that aren't really so much about health, because for you to say that screening is warranted, then it comes down to dollars and cents, right? But we're not talking about dollars and cents. We're talking about quality of life and health for patients. So I agree that we are undereducated, and that's why we're here.
Leave it right there. Perfectly said. Completely agree. And what was that? What was that, Dr. Jordan?
No, I was saying that programs like this serve to help with public education. So it's a good thing that we're here to do this today. But to some degree, even though there isn't a public screening program.
Sorry, is he frozen a bit? Oh, he's frozen a bit. All right. If you're still with me, Dr. Brown.
Yes, I can say, even though there isn't public screening, I think awareness helps, because if people are aware, they can go out on their own and seek care. And very often, even the patient's relative who is the one getting the drops, etc., does not understand the familial link to glaucoma and the risk involved.
Right.
So it's very important to have, a forum like this.
Let me ask. Condition, we hear about conditions like cataracts, blurred vision from aging, etc. Or is glaucoma any different from any of these issues?
Very different. A cataract is a natural part of the aging process. Just as hair on the head goes white, so will the lens inside a person's eye. We're all born with a lens that's clear in our youth and gets cloudier and cloudier, as we get older. So a cataract is a natural part of the aging process, but glaucoma is not natural. Glaucoma is a pathology of the nerve, as Dr. Jordan expressed. So definitely not the same thing. And that's why it's important, especially to get our older relatives examined. And just because they may have a cataract doesn't mean that they are then immune to glaucoma. They can also have glaucoma, and we should examine them.
What I'm seeing already, it's almost 6. We haven't even gotten into the meat of the matter because I'm feeling that there's so much to explore. So I'm already saying, producer and Madam Blair, we need another part. We need a part 2, because I'm telling you, the things that you're speaking to it, there's so many layers to it, and so many things that need to be addressed that I don't think one sitting could do it all. Nonetheless, we press on. There isn't just one type of glaucoma, as you mentioned. Are you able to walk us quickly through a couple of the different types that show up?
Sure. So we can classify glaucoma in different ways. So one of the common ways to do that is primary or secondary glaucoma. So primary glaucoma means that there isn't a defined cause that we can point to, as opposed to secondary glaucomas that can be associated things like being hit in the eye, or people who have certain retinal diseases or diabetic eye disease. They can present with glaucoma as well, and those will be considered to be secondary glaucomas. And then another classification is according to the drainage angle in the eye that Kamara spoke about before. So the drainage angle of the eye can be open or it can be narrow. So you can
the what of the eye?
The drainage angle. So this is the part in your eye between the cornea, which is like the windshield of the eye, and then the iris, which is what gives your eye its color. In between those, there's a space that we call the iridocorneal angle, because it's between the iris and the cornea, and that can be open.
We need some charts. Educated. That's what part 2.
We'll bring some pictures for you.
Yeah.
But that angle can be open or it can be narrow. So you can have open angle glaucoma. You can have narrow angle glaucoma.
Got you.
So that can divide glaucoma into 4. So that's primary open angle glaucoma, which is the most common. You can have primary narrow angle. You can have secondary open angle. You can have secondary closed or narrow angle. So it can be divided that way. Also, in some patients with glaucoma, the pressure in the eye is high. That's most patients. But in some, it can actually be within what's considered a normal range. So you also have what's called normal tension glaucoma. And I had mentioned acute and chronic before.
Got you. I was just looking at a comment here, and one of our co-hosts said right away when you mentioned the whole glaucoma thing, there it is, I started looking out the corner of my eyes. I think many of us did the very same thing, Sir Michael. So, it is amazing the things that we take for granted or don't pay attention to until it is highlighted. And then we realize, oh, okay. So you spoke about pressure, eye pressure. I'm trying to remember, you mentioned that it affects how does it affect the optic nerve? Did you mention, you stated that?
Well, I usually tell patients that the eye is a ball, and every ball will have a pressure. And if you think of a beach ball compared to a cricket ball, and you squeeze them, you can feel which one, the contents are under greater pressure in that cricket ball. Yeah. And therefore, our eyeball does not like high pressures, right? And under pressure, the optic nerve, that fiber optic cable that Dr. J described, that eye nerve will die, and it dies in a specific pattern. So that's why it's important to have your eye properly examined, because we can see when we look through our lens and look at the back of the eye, we can see if it is dying in that particular pattern, right? That gives us a clue as to, is this glaucoma, yes or no? So high eye pressure, the nerve dies under high eye pressure.
All right, pause.
That's
right
how
there.
it affects it.
Sorry, pause right there, Dr. Rowan. Sorry again. Gonna run to another break and come right back. We're speaking about glaucoma and how it affects you right there. So let's go to a break and we'll be right back.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:01.
You can see the face, but not the heart. Those who want to do you wrong. So many times.
Bless up. This is Christopher Martin. Human trafficking is a crime. Let's unite to end human trafficking. Be wise, open your eyes, spot them, stop them, and report them.
a message from the Ministry of National Security.
No shadow at the dark. No shadow at the dark.
This Emancipation Day, experience a night of powerful praise and purpose. CC Winans brings her More Than This tour to Jamaica with Chevelle Franklin, Kevin Downswell, Prince Saj, John Mark Wigan, hosted by IT Ellis and Nadine Blair. Gates open 2 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Tickets at select outlets island-wide or online at spuropen.com. Follow at More Than This Jamaica on Instagram for updates. CC Winans, More Than This, concert with a cause. Friday, August 1, Kings House East Lawns.
We know that Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, but what deeper truths lie within that miracle? Why him, and what does his story mean for us today? This week on The Rock, we dig into the story of Lazarus with guests Pastor Everell Edwards and Carrie Heron to uncover powerful lessons on faith, purpose, and divine timing from the topic Lessons from Lazarus. Plus, in A Piece of My Mind, our host reflects on the past week and looks ahead. What insights will the guest agree with or challenge? All this and more on The Rock, Tuesday, July 1 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101. Quickly, just to catch up or have you catch up, we're speaking with Dr. Kamara Brown and Dr. Valence, or you can correct me if it's Valence or Valence Jordan, and they're speaking about glaucoma. Valence. I got it 50%. I got it right once. Understanding managing glaucoma, and for me, it's a very important topic, and we have so many areas that have to be covered that I don't think an hour can do justice. So we're going to have to look at, if possible, to have another part. But for what time is allowed, let's look at some more information or answers a few more questions if we can. So also questions, please send them in, and you can call as well. Questions can be sent to WhatsApp via text or voice notes to 876-997-3125, 30 seconds or less with the voice notes, please. And the studio lines, you can call in at 876-968-8327, 876-968-8328. You can also watch us on Comment Live on Love 101 FM, Facebook, and Love 101 FM, YouTube. And just so you know, the numbers of the FLM head office in Kingston are 876-920-1034, 876-926-8101. A couple other things as we go down the line. Once vision is lost due to glaucoma, is it really gone for good, or is there any way to get it back? I think you guys were speaking to that a bit, but what were you saying, or what will you say in a second?
Unfortunately, when you present to us, we're going to try to preserve the vision that you have left, but whatever has been lost already, that's gone for good. There's nothing that we can do to bring that back. And that's something that unfortunately, it's hard to grasp when you've presented to the eye doctor and he's telling you that you've already lost the majority of your visual field. So that's why it's important to get screened and to be seen early so that we can do a lot more about it. Kamara once told me an analogy for glaucoma, which I thought was really good. It had to do with a motor car that's going down a hill to crash, and our treatment is putting on the brakes.
Okay.
And when we catch you is important. If we catch you at the top of the hill, that's the best thing. We don't want to catch you when you're right about to crash into the wall.
Right. Wow. What an analogy and something for us to look at. We're going to divert a bit to listen to one of the favorite moments that we have here on Family Time, and it's Words to Flesh Moments with Reverend Mike. Let's take that right now.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. This is a reminder from God, our Creator, of the importance of vision, for it is linked to our very survival. So we should be mindful to protect our vision physically and spiritually. This is especially true with the disease glaucoma. We should look out for early signs such as gradual loss of peripheral vision, blurred vision, eye pains, or headaches. Many people don't realize they have glaucoma until a significant amount of vision has been lost. Then it's too late. For the damage caused by glaucoma can't be reversed, but treatment and regular checkups can help slow or prevent vision loss, especially if the disease is found in its early stages. The Bible emphasizes that spiritual vision is essential for leadership and prosperous direction, so it may be essential to pay attention also to the signs that our spiritual vision is being impaired. Therefore, we must guard against vision impairing issues overcoming us. Issues such as fear, arrogance, unforgiveness, unbelief, bitterness, inappropriate desires, or unresolved conflict with others could impair our spiritual vision. Let's stay away from these things, especially if you are a leader. So stay alert and catch the symptoms that indicate vision impairment physically and spiritually. I'm Reverend Mike from Fellowship Tabernacle, and we just had a WTF moment.
Rev Mike at it again with a wonderful piece, just basically encapsulating the whole aspect of glaucoma and also giving a spiritual or biblical context. So thanks, Rev Mike, and we welcome back our special guests, Dr. Kamara Brown and Dr. Valence Jordan. As I said, we are running all the time, but you know, I think I was looking at, there was a comment I saw. No, not at the moment. All right.
Yes, about loss of independence. There was one.
Oh, I
A
didn't see
patient was speaking about the thing they would miss most
yes,
about their
yes.
vision.
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Okay, right. So, President, good afternoon. Most of all, I'd miss taking full. Okay, so they're just wondering, what would you miss most? They'd miss taking full care of themselves. The fact that I'd have to be dependent on people to take me around and do certain things for me. And I believe for many, that loss of independence is a hard one to take, having to adjust to what you have been doing for umpteen number of years, and then having to make a switch to depend on others, especially persons who are extremely independent or live alone for a period of time, etc. You know, they'll be probably having a difficult time making the transition, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. Patients who are no longer able to drive, patients who have difficulty functioning at home, patients who are robbed because they can't monitor their own funds. They have to depend on someone to do their bank transactions, end up robbed. All of these because of a preventable loss of vision. You know, so it is very sad, but especially in the public system, Val, we have quite a bit of that.
Yes,
No,
and
but
sometimes
sorry, Dr. Jordan, finish your
sometimes the
thought.
support system isn't strong, or sometimes relatives don't have the time or the patience to take care of their loved ones after they've lost vision, and it's very hard to see in the clinic, and you can only sometimes imagine what the situation is like at home.
And as you said, the support system, I see a huge difference with a supportive family, caregiver, spouse, huge difference in outcome.
But again, Dr. Jordan, Dr. Brown, I am befuddled. I'm really like looking at this thing and I'm saying, if this is something that literally is irreversible based on the damage that is happening, and you're saying it's something that can be limited to being full blown, or you can it preventative, then why are we so much in the dark and so under educated, as you said, on it, about this whole matter, with something that we can do something about? It's crazy to think about that. I
I
don't.
think we have quite a few, we've got serious chronic illnesses in our country. Diabetes on the rise, hypertension on the rise, even hypercholesterolemia is on the rise. So there's a lot happening, but the largest estimate of how bad the problem is was done through Mona Institute of the Aging, and it thought that 12% of people over 60 had glaucoma. That's really high. That's much higher than anywhere else in the world. So think, if you know 12, if you know 10 people, maybe at least one of them will have glaucoma. That's very, very
Yeah,
significant.
that's a very low. That's a very sorry, not low, but high number.
Yes, so it is important, and that was done on older people over 60. So think of how many people over 60 have never had an eye exam. I met 2 today.
Right, right. Speaking about that, a message came in. It's a good day, family time. I just found out that my husband has glaucoma. Very sorry to hear about that. I have a referral to Dr. Brown, but it's not until 2026, and so they're a bit worried between now and then.
So if no treatment has been started, that's actually urgent, and cannot wait until 2026. I'm going to have to ask that patient to email my office. I'll contact them afterwards, because if the diagnosis was made and treatment was not started, generally diagnosis made and treatment is started by a general ophthalmologist who may want a subspecialist opinion. So if treatment was started, when we're comfortable, but if not, so that patient will have to connect with afterwards.
All right, here's a question that my producer will ensure gets in, because I don't want to lose my privileges here to be able to host. So the question is, if someone's parent or sibling has glaucoma, how much more at risk are they, and should they start screening earlier? Is it generational? Is it something that you found that has that tide?
If someone has,
go ahead, Dr. Jordan.
Oh, definitely. So glaucoma has a genetic foundation, and it's very complicated because there are a lot of different genes that can be involved. But if your first degree relative, parent or sibling have glaucoma, then you can be up to 10 times at risk as compared to somebody who doesn't have the first degree relative with glaucoma. So should you be screened earlier? Absolutely.
Definitely.
As I said, I don't think 40 is a good time to start screening in our population. I'd say 30, maybe even earlier. I tell you, I bounced into a schoolmate of mine just randomly, and he told me, he saw an eye doctor. He might have a touch of glaucoma. I didn't really know what that meant. So I said, come and see me. And when I examined him and I did all the investigations, I was shocked. He wasn't 40 yet. He still isn't 40, and he has advanced glaucoma. So there are a lot of people walking around out there with glaucoma. They're not even 40 yet. And
Right.
of course, I
Sorry,
have.
sorry, Dr. Joy. Sorry to interrupt. We're gonna have
No
to
problem.
take another quick time signal. We'll be right back on Family Time on Love 101.
Remix the summer with Digicel. 100 lucky winners win $100,000 each, plus surprises all summer. Gift a friend a plan, they could win $25,000. The time by Digicel is 6:15 and a half.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
What is the
For
on
more
my TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently. But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor figure check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake.
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Remix the summer with Digicel. 100 lucky winners win $100,000 each. Plus surprises all summer. To enter, buy a SIM, 7-day plan or higher. Switch to Digicel. Be an active postpaid or Digicel Plus customer. Or receive US $15 or more from abroad. Gift a friend a plan. They could win $25,000. Remix the summer with Digicel. Authorized under Section 58 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promo ends September 15, 2025. Conditions apply. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for more info. Digicel, better connected this summer.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101. And we have special guests Dr. Valence Jordan and Dr. Kamara Brown online with us, speaking about glaucoma and the effects that it actually has, the causes, and so forth. We've been speaking about these things and a few more questions to go to kind of unearth some of these challenges that we've been having and the things that we actually did not know about glaucoma. Why the particular group that is being affected in terms of us as blacks or this ethnicity, what is causing it different from another? Have you been able to see any information in that regard, why we are being affected more than maybe another set of persons?
Well, I'll jump in there. So a lot of the research that has been done on the genetic aspects of glaucoma, unfortunately, did not involve people from the African diaspora or people with predominantly African genetics. So it was 2024 that an article was published that had identified two genetic risk factors. And as Val said to you guys earlier, it is a very complicated disease. Though it is a genetic disease, we know very little about the genetics involved. So this was a major milestone, and for us to find those two genes, and they pointed to various ways that the eye is different in people of African descent. The cornea can be thinner, and the head or the front of the optic nerve can be larger. And the genes that carry the risk for these factors are associated with this population. So long and short, not much genetic research done on this population. Very recently, two major genes have been isolated. A lot more work to be done. All
right. Wow. As I said, so much to delve into. All right, for just gonna go rapid fire for treatment. People like to speak about eye drops, and for the eyes, anything to kind of prevent or to maintain the vision that you already have. Are there things of that nature that can be used, or is there other methods that have to be utilized for the treatment of glaucoma?
Sure. So eye drops have been a mainstay of treatment of glaucoma for a long time. And, well, all of the treatments for glaucoma have one aim, and that's to lower the pressure in the eye, because that's the only risk factor for glaucoma that is modifiable as far as we know. There are a lot of studies looking into other things to protect the optic nerve, but lowering the pressure is the only thing we have the evidence for. So eye drops, sure, but more recently there's a laser treatment called selective laser trabeculoplasty, or SLT. And there's a big study that showed that it could be as good or better than eye drops as the first line treatment, and people who had this treatment had a better quality of life than those who were on eye drops. And up to 3/4 of them didn't need any eye drops for the first 3 years. So SLT is a big thing right now. Eye drops,
And
of
good for our
course, but they can
population.
have their issues over time.
You said
And in our population. And in our population.
There's also,
you said SLT or SLTT?
Yeah, there was a study. Yeah, SLT.
Okay, SLT.
There was even a study done in the Caribbean, in Dominica and St. Lucia, that looked at SLT and showed that it was also effective. So in our population, SLT is good. And I hate to say this, I think a lot of our patients that we put on eye drops don't use them. And if they do, they don't use them as often as they should. And that means that the pressure in the eye is going to go up and down. And I mean, having a good number is good, but also reducing the amount of fluctuations of the pressure is good, because that can actually also damage the optic nerve.
Right.
Going on from laser and eye drops, then there are surgical options for people who have early to moderate glaucoma, who need cataract surgery. There are what we call MIGS, minimally invasive glaucoma surgery, which are a number of different small procedures that can be done at the same time to help lower the pressure a bit more than just the cataract surgery alone. And then for more advanced cases, then we have bigger surgeries like the traditional trabeculectomy, or sometimes putting in a tube to help drain the fluid in the eye and lower the pressure.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Jordan. Could we have the voice note that has come in, please?
Good day, panel. Good evening. Well, if I lose my sight through glaucoma, I would miss, believe me, helping myself. I like to be independent, so I would miss helping myself and getting around by myself, and also miss reading my Bible. I love to read, share the word of God, so I know I would miss that so much.
Wow. Thank you so much for that voice note. Yes, miss that independence and reading the word. Another comment from Lydia Grapping. I guess we can take this at the end. So please provide your information, Doctors Brown and Jordan, because the person stated, I've lost sight in one eye. Recently, I was diagnosed with glaucoma in the good eye. So I would like to come to see you. So they're definitely in need of assistance as much as is possible right now. Based on just that comment alone, I don't like what I'm reading, but I'm hoping that there can be something that can be done for them. Someone was asking, how can they get the drug, the SLT drug that you mentioned? Is it something that they have to come in office?
Oh no, that's a procedure. So what Doc was saying, there are three mainstays. You've got drops, you've got laser, which is the SLT, that's the subtype of laser that is used, and you have surgery, which could be major or less invasive surgeries, right? So those are the three mainstays for treatment of glaucoma. And we are using lasers more and more. In fact, we were very lucky that we were gifted a laser, a SLT laser at KPH, and we've been able to provide glaucoma laser treatment to several patients in the public system.
I'm figuring you'd need a few more. I'm not sure if this is a space to state what roughly something like that would cost, if there are any willing investors to be able to assist. But in a serious way, one is definitely not good enough, I'm sure.
How many do you think we need to serve a country this size, Val, with a population like this? At least one in every type A hospital.
Oh, absolutely. One in every type A for sure. I mean, there's no direct SLT, which probably won't need a doctor to do it. But
So
that's
much
new.
easier.
So that's probably even more expensive. But that would mean that other people other than doctors might be able to also help the patients. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone commenting good information on this important subject. We should not wait until we have vision problems to or we have problems seeing before we have this matter addressed, which is definitely what Dr. Brown and Dr. Jordan have been echoing from the start of the program until this point. But again, underfunded and much more need is of the essence in terms of what has to happen in our nation, much less what we've been seeing around the Caribbean. And then I was just doing a little quick research and I realized that the information for Jamaica itself is so limited, if any at all. While other Caribbean nations, a couple have information out there, but we have nothing. Why is that? And that is just crazy to me. A couple other questions. When it comes to screening, what kind of eye exam can actually catch glaucoma? So I think you guys I'm trying to remember if you had mentioned that.
We spoke about vision, checking eye pressure, examining the nerve, looking at the depth of that area that Val had described for you behind the cornea, in front of the iris. So a comprehensive eye exam involves several things: vision check, pressure check, and examination at our slit lamp microscope in office, right? And then we can go on to do visual field tests as well as scans of the nerve. So it's a comprehensive eye exam must involve all those.
All right. Some people ask whether vision loss can be reversed, but you guys stated already that that was a challenge. Based on where you are at, based on what has happened to the nerve, you can only try to stem further damage quickly, but once it has gotten to a point, it can't be recovered, right? You had mentioned that. How does glaucoma affect well, in terms of driving, reading, and moving around, have you known that person's, let's say, the worst case you've seen, is it that they're completely unable to do anything when it comes to activities, or it varies in terms of how much they can do and what they can do?
It's going to vary from patient to patient, but the worst that you see is complete blindness, because that's the end point of the disease if it's not treated. That optic nerve, the fiber optic cable, is completely destroyed. So we're talking about complete blindness. That's the end point, and that's what we want to avoid. As a matter of fact, we want to go even further back and avoid losing your independence and your ability to function. So, of course, in other countries, like let's say the UK, where I did some training, and Dr. Brown would as well, they have particular amount of visual field that you have to have in order to drive. Because once you've lost significant field, then it's dangerous. You'll miss people in your periphery and knock them down. And of course...
Sorry, Dr. Jordan. All right, we're on the wrap. I wanted to add something, even 30 seconds, but I probably think we don't have the time. I'm going to definitely have to try to see if we can have you on again, both of you, to really tackle some further questions that I'm sure persons are really seeking. Please remember to provide the information so that the person can actually reach out. So Dr. Brown and Dr. Jordan, that's an email you can state on air that persons can reach out to you.
Oh, let me look it up.
Okay, and Dr. Jordan, are you able to say it? Oh, okay, no worries.
Let me look it up.
The producer can actually well, they can take care of that. All right, let me go to the wrap then. All right, what I can say, thank you so much, Dr. Jordan and Dr. Brown, for taking the time. There's so much more to explore, and we've learned quite a bit. So at this time, we are going to basically come to a close for what was another informative program. You're tuned into Love 101. This is Family Time, brought to you by Family Life Ministries, FLM. FLM provides counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. Remember, you can tune into the program via Love 101 Facebook page and YouTube channel. The topic today was Understanding and Managing Glaucoma. And our special guests today were Dr. Kamara Brown and Dr. Valence Jordan. So otherwise, keep up to date with us with what's happening with FLM and other programs. Check us out on Facebook, Family Life Ministries, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA, and on Instagram at simply FLMJA. The numbers to call again, 920-1034 for the head office and 926-8101, 5798 and 8690. All right, 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Thank you so much, Dr. Jordan and Dr. Brown, show producer Kathy Gale, Rashid Perry for research and resource assistance, and Auntie Nadine Blair for coming in as well. And I'm, of course, O'Neill Campbell. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Family Time, the discussion there on glaucoma. Really interesting, and such sad stories, around about persons who are going through. There is help. So do make sure you make that visit to the doctor. Time and Love 101, it is 6:31.